The wildfires certainly dominated the headlines, but this week in Texas politics, from the border to the Capitol, several big stories took place. Fox 7 chief political reporter Rudy Koski with a look at that.
There were several hot topics this week in Texas politics beyond the weather. Let's find out what our headlines are with our panel, and we'll start first with Scott Braddock with the Quorum Report. Scotty, what's your headline?
Well, I'm wondering if the Ken Paxton impeachment trial in the Senate is now going to be delayed.
Connie Sweeney with the Highlander. Connie, what's your headline for the week?
Taxpayers wait with bated breath for possible tax relief.
And a headline from Mark Wiggins, our political analyst. Mark, your headline.
Texas is a tinderbox, and for once, it's not a political metaphor, at least not entirely.
Now, some of the top stories that I noticed this week included the Governor Greg Abbott signing the Save Women's Sports Act legislation that prevents local governments from restricting access to oil and gas energy, and the big property tax cut deal. Congressional Democrats and Republicans taking separate trips to the border and, of course, providing separate assessments about what they saw. And reportedly, Attorney General Ken Paxton can now add a federal grand jury review to his list of problems. Scott, there's a lot of anticipation about the Paxton stories, but I still think the border story is the big story of the week. Am I right or wrong?
Well, I think what's different about the border is you have Democrats fighting back the buoys in the water that are now controversial and are going to be litigated in court. And you have a congressman, a Democrat, facing off with the DPS and saying that some of the troopers there might need to be charged with murder. I don't remember it ever being as hot as all this.
Rudy, anytime you see a bunch of politicians down there in their boonie hats and Magellan shirts, you know there's an election right around the corner.
Connie, the abuse of office trial of a Burnett County judge, James Oakley, this week was moved from from Burnett County to Blanco County. Do you see some parallels in his case with how the Paxton case is playing out? Should we be watching those parallels?
Apparently, it's going to be a fight of the lawyers, because in both cases, of course, you have on the Paxton case, the lawyer trying to throw out about 19 of 20 of those impeachment charges. In the Burnett County judge case, there were 4 charges, and they had to do with similar type allegations of misconduct, and only one of them is now sticking for an upcoming trial. And so in both incidences, you had folks that were supporting, very supportive of both of these particular politicians, but now that they're under fire with these charges, it looks as though people are waiting to see what's going to happen in the trials.
You know, Rudy, the net is really tightening around Paxton, and I think the big question out there right now is, who gets him first?
A couple of things about it. One, there's been a lot of speculation around the Capitol that after it was revealed that a grand jury was impaneled to look into some things related to Paxton here in San Antonio, that it's possible the impeachment trial in the Senate could be delayed, and that might make some political sense for Lieutenant Governor Patrick and the senators. And then the other thing is, yeah, I think on the individual articles of impeachment, those will be dealt with in different ways through different motions, some of those to be ruled on by the lieutenant governor unilaterally, and then others may have to be ruled on by the Senate as a whole and voted on by the Senate as a whole.
So now the big question is whether or not our state senator, Pete Flores, will be supportive of that, because he's always been very supportive of Paxton.
The other big story of the week was the big property tax cut deal. It came at a cost, somewhat of a political cost, with some personalities clashing. So, Mark, did the hatchet get buried?
I wouldn't go as far as saying hatchets were buried. There's still a lot of bad blood, especially between the leaders. And one tax deal isn't going to make that go away. And if lawmakers are called back for a special session on vouchers, as we anticipate is going to happen sometime around October, you're going to see those animosities turbocharged.
Well, look, they may have had one moment of kumbaya, if you will, over in New Caney, but the fact is you have the governor about to put the members of the legislature through the voucher shredder, and the other half of that, as Mark knows very well, is the school funding question.
Area cities, not only here in the Hill Country, but throughout Texas, are now starting to pass their proposed tax rates. And even though they're going down, either staying the same or going down a penny or two, people are still bracing for the impact of having a bigger tax bill because of the fact that the property values have gone up anywhere from 30, 50 to even in some cases 70% in different areas. So there's a wait and see attitude. People don't believe they're going to have the full tax relief they should have, but want to see what's going to happen with this particular legislation.
Looking ahead, we've got the school districts having to arm their campuses with police officers, and also the motions have to be answered in the Paxton impeachment trial. So next week's looks big, but let's sum up this week with one word. We'll start off with Connie, your word for the week.
Border order.
Mark, your word for the week.
Wildfires.
And Scott Braddock, your word for the week.
Unsettled.
And with that, we're wrapping up another week in Texas politics.